Elon Musk and Justine Musk's marriage looked like the start of something lasting, a brilliant entrepreneur and an ambitious writer building a future together. They had 5 children, wealth, and a life many would envy. But behind closed doors, cracks were forming. Justine found herself in a relationship where she felt unheard, unseen, and emotionally abandoned. She stayed, hoping things would change. But then, out of nowhere, she got a message that made her world stop. Elon was engaged to someone else. No discussion, no warning, just a cold, matter-of-fact text. And that wasn't even the worst part. There was one final incident that pushed Justine to walk away for good. What was it? And where is she now? Stick around, because this one's shocking. But first, let's look at the couple's life before all the drama. Young love and Elon's relentless pursuit. Elon and Justine's story began in the 1990s when they met at Queen's University in Ontario, Canada. Justine, an English literature major, was passionate about writing, storytelling, and literature. Elon, already exhibiting the intensity that would later define him, was drawn to innovation, problem-solving, and the mechanics of success. Their first interaction was not one of instant fireworks. Justine later recalled how Elon had approached her confidently, asking her out for ice cream. She declined, believing it was just another casual invitation. But Elon, even then, was not one to take no lightly. Later, he arrived at her dorm room holding 2 melting ice cream cones, refusing to accept defeat. His persistence was endearing but also foreshadowed the determined, uncompromising nature that would later dominate their relationship. While Justine admired Elon's intelligence and ambition, she found his social interactions to be somewhat mechanical. He was direct, sometimes lacking the warmth of spontaneity. But his confidence was magnetic. He had a vision for the future that was larger than life, and in some ways, it was impossible not to be drawn into his orbit. After some years of on and off dating, the couple reconnected after Elon moved to Silicon Valley. His business ventures, including Zip2 and later PayPal, were beginning to take off. At the same time, Justine was pursuing her own aspirations, working on her first novel. Despite their differences, they shared a belief in success, in breaking past limitations, and in shaping their own futures. It was a connection that seemed unshakable, at least for a while. Marriage and the emergence of power imbalances. In January 2000, Elon and Justine married, beginning a new chapter as husband and wife. The early days of their marriage were filled with hope and excitement as they built a life together in California. But even in those initial years, there were signs of friction. Elon, driven by efficiency and results, often treated life, including their marriage, as a strategic pursuit. He valued discipline, control, and forward momentum. Justine, on the other hand, believed in passion, creativity, and emotional depth. She wanted a relationship built on equality, while Elon viewed relationships through a hierarchical lens. She later described moments where she felt sidelined, reduced to playing a role rather than being an equal partner. Elon, a man who built rockets and electric cars, had a mind that was always operating at full speed. He expected the same level of structure and obedience in his personal life. In one particularly telling moment, he reportedly told Justine, "If you were my employee, I would fire you." One of the earliest signs of control in their marriage came when Elon told her, "I am the alpha in this relationship." Though she brushed it off at first, his words became a reality over time. Justine felt increasingly diminished, struggling to find her place in Elon's world. She later revealed that when she tried to assert herself, Elon would remind her that if she were an employee, he would have fired her. Tragedy strikes, the loss of their first child. In 2002, the couple welcomed their first child, a son named Nevada Alexander. For a brief moment, their world was filled with pure joy. But their happiness shattered when, at just 10 weeks old, Nevada passed away from sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS. The loss devastated Justine. She grieved deeply, struggling to process the unimaginable pain of losing a child. But Elon, true to his nature, compartmentalized his emotions. He refused to dwell on grief, choosing instead to immerse himself in work. When Justine tried to talk about their loss, Elon shut down the conversation, telling her he did not want to discuss it. This emotional divide became a defining fracture in their marriage. Justine needed to express her sorrow, to process the tragedy. Elon, however, saw emotions as obstacles to progress. His way of coping was to move forward without looking back. But for Justine, the silence surrounding their loss only deepened her feelings of isolation. Determined to continue growing their family, the couple turned to IVF. In 2004, they welcomed twins, Griffin and Xavier. 2 years later, triplets, Damien, Saxon, and Kai, were born. With 5 young children, their home should have been filled with warmth and love. Instead, Justine felt increasingly sidelined. She struggled under the weight of raising 5 children while still trying to hold on to her own identity. Elon's relentless work ethic meant he was often absent, focused on his burgeoning empire rather than their family. When he was present, he expected efficiency and order. Justine found herself feeling more like an accessory to his life rather than a partner. The imbalance in their marriage became undeniable. Elon had a clear idea of what he wanted in a wife, someone who fits seamlessly into his structured, high-performance world. He once told Justine, "I am the alpha in this relationship." To him, it was a statement of fact. To her, it was a realization that she had lost herself entirely. The breaking point: divorce and public fallout. By 2008, the cracks in Elon Musk and Justine Musk's marriage had deepened into irreparable fractures. What had started as a love story between two ambitious, intelligent individuals had become a battleground of emotional detachment, power struggles, and unmet needs. Justine had long felt like a supporting character in Elon's grand narrative, but even she couldn't have anticipated how abruptly their marriage would end. One day, out of nowhere, Elon sent her a text message, one that would shatter any remaining illusion of reconciliation. He told her, in no uncertain terms, that he was engaged to someone else. There was no discussion, no prior warning, just a cold, matter-of-fact declaration that their life together was officially over. And the most shocking part, he had already moved on, not just emotionally, but legally and romantically. To outsiders, Elon and Justine had the kind of life most people could only dream of. They were wealthy, they had 5 children, and Elon was at the helm of some of the world's most exciting companies. But behind closed doors, their marriage had turned into a struggle for power and autonomy, one where Justine felt increasingly voiceless. Elon's approach to relationships was strikingly similar to how he ran his businesses: ruthless, efficient, and results-driven. He believed in a structured, disciplined way of living, which extended into their marriage. While Justine craved emotional depth and equality, Elon saw the relationship in terms of hierarchy. She had started as his intellectual equal, a woman with dreams of her own, but over the years, she had felt herself fading into the background. She was now Elon Musk's wife, not Justine Musk, the writer, the thinker, the dreamer. And yet, for all the emotional distance between them, Justine never imagined that Elon would leave the mother of his children so suddenly, only to propose to someone else without even telling her first. The divorce proceedings quickly turned into a bitter legal battle centered around the financial agreement Justine had signed years earlier. Early in their marriage, Elon had convinced her to sign a postnuptial agreement, reassuring her it wasn't a prenuptial contract. At the time, Justine believed they would never divorce, so she signed it without much concern. However, when the divorce became official, she realized the full impact of what she had signed. The postnup agreement significantly limited her financial claims, leaving her with a fraction of what she believed she was entitled to. By then, Elon's wealth had skyrocketed to over $100 million, yet Justine found herself in a battle just to secure a fair share for herself and their children. Justine fought back, arguing that the agreement was invalid because it lacked full financial disclosure. Her legal team insisted that Elon's rising wealth, particularly following the PayPal sale, had not been properly disclosed when the contract was signed. They claimed that Elon had misrepresented his financial position, potentially rendering the contract fraudulent. Elon, on the other hand, stood firm. He maintained that Justine had signed the agreement willingly and that it should be upheld. The legal battle dragged on for 2 years, with Justine determined to challenge the agreement. After years of legal wrangling, the court ruled in Elon's favor, upholding the postnuptial agreement. However, the judge acknowledged the complexity of the case and certified it for appeal, meaning the legal battle wasn't necessarily over. Despite losing the financial case, Justine focused on securing a stable future for their children. The divorce settlement included shared custody of their 5 sons, ensuring that they would have both parents in their lives. The public reaction and Justine's outspoken response. Most divorces between high-profile figures are handled quietly through private settlements and confidential agreements. But Justine refused to fade into the background. She was not just going to be another ex-wife of a billionaire, she had her own story to tell. In a raw and candid essay published in Marie Claire, Justine detailed the unraveling of her marriage. She didn't hold back. She wrote about the emotional neglect, the power struggles, and how she felt like Elon had slowly erased her sense of self. One of the most striking parts of her essay was her recollection of their financial dynamic. Despite being married to one of the wealthiest men in the world, Justine had never felt financially independent. Elon controlled their assets, their spending, and in many ways, her ability to walk away. She described how, during the divorce, she had to fight for a fair settlement, not because she wanted more money, but because she wanted what she believed she deserved as an equal partner in their shared journey. Justine's essay painted a stark picture of what it was like to be married to a man like Elon Musk, brilliant, ambitious, but emotionally unavailable. And while her words resonated with many, they also painted Elon in a light that made some people uncomfortable. For all of his achievements, for all of his technological advancements and spacefaring dreams, Elon Musk had failed at one of the most fundamental human relationships, his marriage. Perhaps the most shocking part of Justine's story wasn't just the divorce itself, but who Elon left her for. Elon's new fiancée was Talulah Riley, a British actress 14 years younger than Justine. The two had met at a London club and had an almost instant connection. While Justine was still processing the collapse of her marriage, Elon was already in a whirlwind romance with a woman barely in her 20s. To Justine, this was not just about Elon moving on, it was about being replaced. Elon didn't just want a new relationship, he wanted a new version of a wife, someone younger, someone who had not yet been worn down by years of emotional neglect. Talulah was beautiful, intelligent, and ambitious in her own way, but she was also inexperienced in the ways of marriage to a man like Elon. Justine, having already endured years of feeling like a lesser priority in her husband's life, saw Talulah as the next in line, someone who would soon learn what it meant to be in Elon Musk's orbit. The speed with which Elon remarried was a testament to how he approached life, always looking forward, never dwelling on the past. Life after divorce, Justine's reinvention. In the aftermath of the divorce, Justine had a choice: she could either let the experience define her, or she could reclaim her identity. She chose the latter. She returned to her passion for writing, publishing novels that reflected deep emotional themes and the resilience of the human spirit. She also became an advocate for women in high-profile marriages, using her platform to discuss the importance of maintaining one's sense of self in relationships. She made it clear that, despite the pain of the divorce, she was grateful for what she had learned. In a way, leaving Elon gave her back something she had lost: her independence. Elon's subsequent relationships. Talulah Riley. Talulah Riley was a rising star in the British film industry when she met Elon Musk in 2008. She had made a name for herself in movies like Pride and Prejudice and St. Trinian's and was seen as a talented young actress with a promising career ahead of her. Unlike Justine, who had been Musk's intellectual equal and partner during his early struggles, Talulah met him when he was already a billionaire. He was no longer the struggling entrepreneur trying to make Tesla and SpaceX work. He was now a force in the tech world, shaping industries and gaining worldwide recognition. Their introduction happened in a London nightclub, a setting that seemed wildly out of place for a man as introverted and work-obsessed as Musk. At the time, he was still finalizing his divorce from Justine, but that didn't stop him from pursuing something new. Talulah later described Elon as intense and captivating, unlike anyone she had ever met. He swept her off her feet in typical Musk fashion: fast, determined, and relentless. He flew her to Los Angeles, where she got a first-hand look at his world of private jets, billion-dollar companies, and ambitious dreams of space travel. Despite being 14 years younger than Musk, Talulah quickly fell into his orbit. By 2010, just 2 years after they met, they were married in a lavish ceremony. The wedding was extravagant, but for Elon, romance wasn't about the fairy tale, it was about stability. Talulah seemed to bring a calming presence into his chaotic world, something he had struggled to find after the breakdown of his first marriage. The first divorce. For a while, it seemed like Elon had found happiness again. Talulah took on the role of stepmother to his 5 children and adapted to his demanding lifestyle. However, just as Justine had warned, Musk's work ethic left little room for personal relationships. He would disappear for days at a time, consumed by his work at Tesla and SpaceX, expecting Talulah to accept his absence without complaint. By 2012, their marriage had begun to crumble. Talulah felt increasingly isolated, stuck in a life where she was expected to follow Elon's routines and adapt to his work-first mentality. Then, in a move eerily similar to how he ended his marriage with Justine, Elon coldly told Talulah that he no longer loved her. Not long after that, he filed for divorce. The second marriage, a do-over that didn't work. Less than 18 months after their divorce, Musk had a change of heart. He realized that he had made a mistake and reached out to Talulah again. Against all odds, she agreed to give him another chance. By July 2013, they were married for the second time. To outsiders, it was baffling. Why remarry the same person when the first attempt had already ended in failure? Some believed that Elon had difficulty letting go. His life was built around controlling outcomes, and perhaps he saw his failed marriage as something he could fix, just like an engineering problem. Talulah, for her part, must have believed in the possibility of change, in the idea that this time, things would be different. For a while, they made an effort to adjust. Musk tried to be more present, and Talulah supported his work. They were seen at events together, and for a moment, it looked like they had figured out how to coexist in Elon's high-speed world. But before long, the same issues that had plagued their first marriage resurfaced. Elon's obsessive work schedule once again took precedence over their relationship. He became emotionally withdrawn, spending more time at SpaceX and Tesla than at home. Talulah was left alone for long stretches, feeling like she was married to a man who prioritized rockets over romance. Despite their second attempt at marriage, the same emotional distance and imbalance remained. By 2016, after 3 years of trying again, Talulah had finally had enough. This time, she was the one who filed for divorce. The split was amicable, with Musk agreeing to another multi-million-dollar settlement. Unlike their first separation, this time it was clear that they were done for good. Elon's next relationship. If Talulah was the stabilizing force in Musk's life, then Amber Heard was the complete opposite. After his second and final divorce from Talulah in late 2016, Musk quickly moved on to the Hollywood actress, plunging into one of the most dramatic and controversial relationships of his life. Amber Heard, fresh from her high-profile and turbulent split from Johnny Depp, seemed to bring a new kind of chaos into Musk's world. Their relationship was fast-paced and intense, filled with grand romantic gestures but also riddled with arguments and emotional turmoil. Musk had long been fascinated by Amber, reportedly pursuing her for years before they actually got together. When they finally did, their relationship became a spectacle, with paparazzi capturing their every move. But despite their intense chemistry, the cracks soon began to show. Their time together was filled with ups and downs, passionate moments followed by painful fights. Eventually, after multiple breakups and reconciliations, their relationship came to an end. It was a chapter in Musk's life that proved to be just as chaotic as his previous relationships, if not more so. What went wrong? And why did Elon, a man known for his intelligence and strategic thinking, find himself entangled in such a volatile romance? Following his split from Talulah Riley, Musk found himself drawn to actress Amber Heard. Their relationship, which became public in 2016, had been in the making for years. Musk reportedly became interested in Heard in 2012 while she was still married to Johnny Depp. He pursued her persistently, sending her messages and arranging meetings through mutual friends. But at the time, nothing serious developed. When Heard's highly publicized divorce from Depp concluded in 2016, Musk saw an opportunity to finally start a relationship with her. The two were first spotted together in Miami and later in Australia, confirming the rumors that had been swirling for months. By early 2017, they had officially gone public, attending events together and sharing romantic moments on social media. Musk and Heard's relationship was passionate but tumultuous. Musk, who had a history of becoming deeply invested in relationships quickly, was reportedly head over heels for Heard. He showered her with lavish gifts, including expensive trips and financial support when she needed it. However, their personalities clashed, and their relationship became a cycle of intense romance followed by heated arguments. By August 2017, their whirlwind love affair came to an end. Sources close to the couple cited their demanding schedules and conflicting lifestyles as the main reasons for the split. Musk was heartbroken, revealing in an interview that he had been deeply in love and that the breakup hit him hard. Despite their initial separation, the two rekindled their relationship later that year, attempting to give love another chance. But their fundamental differences remained, and by early 2018, they had broken up for good. Musk later admitted that while he still cared for Heard, their relationship had been too difficult to sustain. Grimes, a relationship of intellectual bonding and eccentricity. After his rocky relationship with Amber Heard, Musk took a brief break from dating before entering one of the most unusual relationships of his life with Canadian musician and experimental artist Grimes, Claire Boucher. Their relationship started in an unconventional way. Musk stumbled upon Grimes's work while researching artificial intelligence and became fascinated by her music and artistic vision. They reportedly connected over an obscure joke about Rocco's basilisk, an AI thought experiment, which led Musk to reach out to her. Their online conversation quickly turned into something deeper. Their romance became public when they attended the 2018 Met Gala together, shocking the world with their unexpected pairing. Grimes, known for her avant-garde music and artistic eccentricities, seemed like an odd match for the billionaire entrepreneur. However, they bonded over their shared love for technology, futurism, and intellectual debates. Unlike Musk's previous relationships, which had largely been rooted in traditional romance, his relationship with Grimes had a surreal quality to it. They were often seen engaging in deep discussions about artificial intelligence, space exploration, and the future of humanity. Grimes described Musk as a brilliant but insane figure, and their relationship reflected that duality. In May 2020, they welcomed their first child together, naming him XAEA-12 Musk, a name that immediately went viral. While many struggled to understand the pronunciation, Musk and Grimes explained that it was a combination of AI references and a tribute to a reconnaissance aircraft. The unusual name reflected their shared vision for the future and their willingness to defy convention. Despite their strong intellectual connection, their relationship faced significant challenges. Musk's demanding work schedule, coupled with Grimes's own artistic pursuits, created a strain. By September 2021, Musk confirmed that they had semi-separated. Despite this, their romantic relationship had officially ended by March 2022. Grimes later described their relationship as fluid, saying they still loved each other but had different priorities. She emphasized that they remained best friends and were committed to co-parenting their children together. Siobhan Zeiley's, the unexpected relationship with a top executive. While the world was still focused on Musk's unconventional relationship with Grimes, shocking news emerged in mid-2022. It was revealed that Musk had secretly fathered twins with Siobhan Zeiley's, an executive at his company Neuralink. Zeiley's, a highly respected artificial intelligence expert, had worked closely with Musk for years as a top Neuralink executive. She had played a key role in the company's ambitious goal of merging AI with the human brain. Their professional relationship eventually evolved into something more personal, and in November 2021, Zeiley's gave birth to Musk's twins, just weeks before his second child with Grimes was born via surrogate. The news of Musk's relationship with Zeiley's took many by surprise, as there had been no public indication that they were romantically involved. It also raised questions about workplace dynamics, given that she was a high-ranking executive at one of his companies. Despite the controversy, Musk and Zeiley's have maintained a respectful and private co-parenting relationship. Unlike his past relationships, this one has remained largely out of the public eye. Zeiley's continues to work at Neuralink, and Musk has remained actively involved in their children's lives. Natasha Bassett, the short-lived romance with an Australian actress. Shortly after the revelations about his twins with Siobhan Zeiley's, Musk was linked to Australian actress Natasha Bassett. The pair were spotted together in early 2022, leading to speculation about a new romance. Bassett, a rising star in Hollywood, had recently gained attention for her role in Elvis, a biopic about the legendary singer. Reports suggested that she and Musk had been quietly dating for some time, but their relationship was never officially confirmed. Their romance appeared to be short-lived, as Musk was soon seen dating other women. It seemed that Bassett had been a brief chapter in Musk's ever-evolving love life. Despite the turbulent divorce, Justine and Elon have maintained a co-parenting relationship for the sake of their children. Though they no longer speak directly, they communicate through Elon's assistant to manage their responsibilities as parents. Justine has since stated that she harbors no resentment toward Elon. She acknowledges that he may not have been the right partner for her, but she still recognizes his brilliance and ambition. Over the years, she has worked through any lingering anger, accepting that their marriage was a chapter in her life that led her to where she is now. Today, Justine lives in Los Angeles, raising their 5 sons while pursuing her writing career. She has published several novels and built a life that is entirely her own. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. And be sure to check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.